We'll call to order the Finance Committee meeting of the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority for Monday, January 31st. And our primary business is to review the December 2021 financials. And before we start to ask questions, Patty, I wonder whether we could ask you to do a review of the financials.
Will do, thank you. Looking at the statement of financial position, the accounts receivable number of $323,000 is 91% current or 1 to 30 days. So we are keeping those receivables coming in as quickly as we can write them. We have our assets, our construction in progress. These are, of course, projects that are not completed, the largest of which is the Tiger Grant Painting and Rehab project at $19.2 million. We have one more payment that Tompkins has to make, and then we can close this project. Then that $19 million will go to fixed assets. So it will move up into the fixed asset section, bringing our construction in progress at less than half probably. We go down to our accounts payable. We have our regular payables, our retirement. The bill has come in, it's $285,000. And the Tiger grant is almost done. We have the $125,332. But of that regular number of $1 million, if you look on page 2, the top 6 vendors, Greenman Peterson, who approximately $120,000 of that open balance is due from the project, from the Tiger Grant project. So that number will go down quite quickly. The MB Company invoice has been paid, so that is gone. The law firm has been paid just about half, so they're down to $37,000 right now. McFarland Johnson has been paid, and the last invoice for the Malls F project, we're waiting for the final billing to the FAA, and then that will be paid. So those are coming down quickly. They're almost all project related. The only one that is not are the maintenance fees for the toll booth. And that is unfortunately approximately $4,000 a month. We had a problem with them. They took 6 months to get back to us on what exactly the payments should be. Their contract was hard to read, and we didn't have a correct answer because they don't send us invoices. So we just got all the information the other day, which is why it looks so high. So we now have to chip that down. But it's a good $48,000 a year just in maintenance fees.
For the e-transit?
Yes. That the software has been paid off on that. The hardware will be paid off during the 22-23 fiscal year. So then we will only have the maintenance fees. And that's in case the card readers go down out at the toll booth, 24-hour service to get any repairs done, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions on the statement of financial position?
Any questions, David?
If not, we'll move on to the income statement, the budget to actual report. As you can see, we've done much better with the bridge revenue than we had anticipated. We can only hope that we can keep that momentum going. We've split our airport revenue so that we can see what is fuel sales and what is regular income. And the fuel sales have been up significantly. The industrial park is almost bang on. They tend to bring in exactly what they say they will. The marine terminal with all of the salt and the canola meal has been going gangbusters this year. So we are very fortunate there. Kathy and I are writing the railroad revenue invoice this week, so that should end up in the statement next month. And the wind turbine project did not happen, as we know.
Shouldn't the railroad revenue be the 25,000
Yes,
once the invoice is billed?
yes. So we'll have a little extra in there for this year.
Thank you.
Bridge salary expenses under salary, we paid out one retiring employee's vacation during this fiscal year, and our 2 seasonal bridge workers are still here, which we had anticipated they would be gone probably in November. So we have a little bit extra going on there. Maintenance expense, the overage is due to the fact that we took over the rental of the man lift from the airport to work on the building exterior this year. And you can see from the side of the building what they've been able to accomplish with it, but of course it costs money to rent the man lift. General expenses, a couple of things have happened, but the biggest one, our advertising budget, we have spent approximately $17,000 for the bridge. That is for the recruitment ads that we've had. So that was something that was quite unexpected. The airport, the salary expense, the budget had been created to be down 1 man, which did not happen. We kept all 4 employees going at the airport. In conjunction with that, there was an overlap in scheduling when we did have one gentleman leave and we had another one come in. Until he was certified on some of the equipment, he could not be there alone. So you ended up with a small overlap in time. The maintenance expense, over about half of it is due to the striping bill that did not get in the budget this year, the K&T striping. New deal de-icing and rock salt that we've had to purchase have added another $23,000, $25,000 to that. Our fuel sales are up against the fuel expenses is up, of course, because the sales are up, with sales of approximately 303 and expenses of 176. We have approximately $126,000 in profit on fuel sales. The under general expenses, we had a number of things that we hadn't anticipated. The Stephen Baldwin invoicing is approximately $30,000 right now. A couple of the strategic development invoices were coded to the airport because of the work they were doing on the $20 million revitalization grant. The airport security is already $10,000 to $15,000 over the full year budget. And we do not have an answer yet as to why that is. There are 3 invoices in there that belong to McFarland Johnson in December that have been moved to construction in progress. So those bills will come out.
Before we move on,
Yes, sir.
we have under general expenses budgeted 16,000 a month.
Yes.
So we're way over. You anticipate that ever reaching the 16,000 a month figure?
Not with Stephen Baldwin in the security, no.
Yeah, some of those were unknowns when we did the budget going forward.
Now, if you look at just December, those invoices from McFarland Johnson that belong in construction in progress equal approximately $50,000. So when you look just at December, you can take 50,000 off the actual of 107.
Right,
It still is over budget, yes.
right.
And if we go down to employee benefits under the marine terminal, the ILA health and welfare is an employee benefit. And with all of the salt that we have had this year, we've had additional men that we did not anticipate moving the salt and loading the trucks, etc. The maintenance expense, we had the tarp disposal, the tarp that had to go over the compass pile, that was approximately $15,000 total together. We ended up with an additional dump truck to help move the salt for a little under 15. Anderson, we rented a loader? Dozer.
Shake the pile.
For approximately $22,000.
Most of those she's mentioning though were reimbursed by the salt company.
So we do see that in the income side.
So when you see the higher income on that, some of that is, or that has to be taken away for expenses.
So we're probably still gonna see the maintenance expenses high because of the need to get that large amount of salt out of here, is that right?
Right.
So we're actually making money.
Right. It's offset with the revenue.
Got it.
Yeah, at the time when we anticipate, I think when we did this budget, we had no idea we'd get that amount of salt.
Right.
So it is what it is. But even though when you look at it at this moment, it looks pretty out of whack.
Are there any questions on the budget to actual?
Just the total. Where we are so far, I know we still have 3 more months to go. But our total expenses are down under budget from almost $500,000 from what we anticipated. That's always a good thing.
And we do, for the first 9 months, have a profit at the end of December.
That we certainly didn't anticipate.
No. With the increased GA flights, with the salt, with the canola meal, with having a little bit more traffic than we had anticipated, we've been able to keep ahead of where we anticipated being this year.
I think that covers the issues with the statements as far as I'm concerned. How about you, David?
Yep.
Sam?
Well, I still have the concern in the airport expense with the consultants, what we're paying the consultants and security. You know, it depends on what else we're going to have the consultants do. And if what they're doing for us, we're willing to pay for. And the security is an issue and something we need to discuss. Probably going into the next budget.
Well, I share the same concerns. I wasn't going to discuss the consultant, but I do have to say, I wonder where we stand given the issue we have there. And then the other thing is, and I'll just say it, we need to get an answer about security. This business of no answer is not acceptable, in my opinion.
I have been dealing with the controller, CFO, whatever her title is. I have not gone any further than that.
Is that who bills us monthly?
Her department, yes. She works Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I can send her an email in the morning, re-asking the question, seeing if I can get an answer by Thursday's board meeting. But if she doesn't respond again, I don't know who the next person is we ask.
Well, it seems to me that if it weren't for possible personality issues, that this would be something dealt with by the executive director and this city manager. And that probably the controller is doing billing at the instruction of the city manager as opposed to other things. And I don't know whether or not this is enough related to contract discussions and so forth that perhaps it should be discussed in executive session. But it does seem to me as if it's appropriate to try to resolve it and try to bring it along somehow. And, you know, it's typical to go, let's say, peer to peer. So it might be chairman of the board and mayor, executive director and so forth. So I would look for some way to address this. And whether we need to have a discussion at the board level or whether we can just say we're interested in having this resolved or cleared up somehow, you know, bring it to either resolution or explosion, whatever it is.
Well, if you're anticipating some reply or not a reply by Thursday, Patty, that's what you're anticipating?
Mhm.
So if that reply doesn't come, maybe Steve, you should make contact with the city manager and ask for some clarification
Very well.
before our meeting on the 10th. That make sense, Chris?
Well, I think that would be absolutely fine, but I would be open to hearing if that doesn't make sense to you, Steve.
No, the logic in what you're saying is peer to peer.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It's,
Okay.
I guess, we were hoping to at least get a start through Patty
Yes.
with that. And I haven't pushed it
Mhm.
due to other things, but I think we're at that point where I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. That's a course of action.
Mhm.
We have another item that came with the meeting package that is identified as confidential and has to do with legal issues.
Yes.
And is this something that we should be in an executive session to discuss?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And is it appropriate for this committee to have a discussion?
Yes, it's a discussion of a legal matter.
In that case, would someone make a
I would
motion to,
go
I'll second.
Executive session.
all in favor?
Aye.
You don't expect to.
Any action afterwards? You don't expect
No,
any
no.
action afterwards?
I don't expect any action and we don't expect to make a decision.